So one of the things that we always have to talk about in the city of Flint is the conditions of our water and how the things are moving along with changing the lead lines and things like that. And
Well, things are moving. Things are moving. I think it's very exciting. I've been out a lot, going to the neighborhoods where they're pulling the lead service lines, and the people are so excited and so happy to see it happening. And we're on target, which is a great thing, because the last numbers were a little bit over 2,900. So we're almost halfway there. So we're still on target or on track to make our 6,000 for this year. So that's great.
That is very good. And I've seen you. You're everywhere. Those trucks are everywhere.
I know
early
it.
in the morning, and they're working.
They are
hard.
working. They
Yes,
are
they are.
working. So it's been really, really exciting. And the other good thing is the people in the neighborhood where they're doing it said that all of the workers, no matter what company they've been with, have been so friendly and so professional. And, we were out there one day and they were giving them pops and water, and it was almost like they made a bond with each other.
Definitely.
So it's been nice.
The people appreciate the, just the effort to help make a
Right.
difference and
That's
change,
right.
no matter what company it is. One of the things that I've noticed and I've seen, they're making holes on every street, and they also are going back and filling them all
Exactly.
in and they're not just leaving the rocks.
No, and that's what we do want people to be patient with that, because one of the things they want to do is get through that whole area, and then they'll come through to do the rest of it. So that's been the process so far.
It has the fast start has made it an little obstacle course moving through the city, but
I know
the benefits of everything.
the benefits of
so
having
great.
clean water
Yes.
outweigh it, and they said they'll be coming through for the restoration piece once they get everything out of the way, because then it's just quicker for them, easier for them.
Okay. That leads up to the next question about, we are finally coming together with the pipe removal and the water. As we see, the test results are lowering.
That's
so
right.
We're
That's
coming
right.
into the water source decision.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Now we just need that recommendation to go through, because that recommendation is so important. And it's important for a lot of reasons. Of course, first was public health. That was always our priority. And then the money, because right now we're paying 2 water bills.
Yes.
We're paying like 1.2 million plus a little bit over 600,000 a year for that bond payment that we would be out of had this water recommendation passed. The other thing, and I've told people, is it gives us access to that water relief assistance program, and that doesn't go away. What we have in place right now through G-Card is temporary, and once those funds are gone, they're gone. But with this, we have access that does not go away to that. We have a backup source, and the other great thing, I think, is we've talked to General Motors. They want to come back.
Okay.
And but they're waiting on that deal to go through.
So
that deal, if they come back and they're a customer, that brings revenue to the city.
Yes.
And that's something else that we've talked about. This gives us some water to sell, raw water.
Yes, definitely.
And if General Motors, they're really, we're doing our own testing, but they've been testing as well.
Okay.
Because you remember they left because the parts rusted.
Yes.
So they've been testing to make sure it's good. Okay. And they're looking to come back. And, one of the things we've always talked about is that might be a way for us to pass that savings on to the customer if we could get that income coming in. Yes. It also gives us money to fix the rest of the infrastructure for the city. So there are ways for us to bring the costs down and pass that on to the citizens.
Yes.
But without it going through,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And we're going to continue to pay the high rates.
We're going to continue to pay 2 bills, and then the rates will go up.
And the scary part to me as a City of Flint resident is changing our water sources again.
We don't want to do that.
No, we finally have it under control now.
Right.
And this is my view and my view only, but we as the people of the City of Flint will have a chance to sit back and know what our water's like and watch the rest of Genesee County switch their water source.
Exactly. And it's interesting to me that people will talk about a 30-year deal and not wanting it when they had a 40 years in place before.
Right.
And they never spoke up about that. They never spoke up when they had the 30-year deal for KWA, and we had to pay the the $7 million a year
Right.
bond. But now all of a sudden it's an issue.
Right.
Well, that was already put in place, and when you look at it, all of the contracts are standard contracts, and they're all 30-year contracts.
Right.
That's how they're going to maintain the cost of the water,
Right.
is with that kind of deal. So, you know, I'm like, wonder why you guys weren't asking all these
Right.
questions when you switched our water
Right.
and didn't put corrosion control in and didn't speak up.
Right, exactly.
You know, now
and
you want to
that's-
speak up all the time about nonsense.
Right, and that's my stand right there. I know you have a brand new water treatment plant in Genesee County and everything, but you can't guarantee you're going to turn it on and everything's perfect.
Exactly.
One mistake,
and then
like
we have to go
seen.
through all of that again,
Right.
and
No,
that's not
thank you.
fair to the
No,
residents.
it's not.
It really isn't, and we've come such a long way.
Yeah, we have, and that brings me to what I have to just say once again. Thank you so much for standing up and speaking out and calling that emergency.
You
It's
know-
so soon we forget, but we only became that water crisis because you stood up for us.
I know. Thank
So
you.
thank you so much, and thank you for what you've done to the city so far.
Well, you know what? I'm going to keep on doing it.
That's right.
That's what I've told people, is I'm just going to stay focused on what I'm supposed to focus on,
And-
that's doing the job I was elected to do.
And so far, bringing the resources you brought here, the Medicaid for people in
Mm-hmm. I
the
know it.
city
That
of
was
Flint,
really good.
the
That-
healthcare coverage. You know, where else have you ever seen that?
I
you
know.
And all the resources that have come in the city, the water pods,
Right.
which
Which
you know.
we're excited that 4 are staying
Yes,
open, you
yes.
know, because the plan that the state put in place was to have them all closed September.
Right.
And we knew that wasn't going to work. That was not a good idea. And so it was nice to be able to go down there and have that conversation with the governor and his people and say, we need to keep some of these open, and
Yes.
for us to be able to keep one open in each area of the
Yeah.
city, north, south, east, and west.
Yes, it was very.
That's
important.
wonderful, and it's they're going to be open. We don't have a close date for those.
Okay.
We don't
Yes.
have a close
Yes,
date.
and that's exciting because I use bottled water. A lot of people I know, they just don't trust it, even
Right,
though
we're
it's
not
getting
there
better.
yet. And we know that while we're doing all this pipe replacement, we're going to be on bottled and filtered water for a
Yes,
while.
yes, we will.
So to keep those open, I think that was great.
Yes, I do.
And to
I
keep
do
those
as
people
well.
employed.
Yes.
That was the other good thing, you know, because we're employing our residents
Yes.
in that. So
Yes.
that was the other exciting piece
Along
of that.
with the core program.
Along with the core program.
which is great. I
Right.
have to tell you, the other day they came to my house and I got new sinks.
Okay.
Because it helps.
Right.
They've seen numbers that were testing high, just changing
Just
their sinks,
change.
drop them
Exactly.
down.
Drop.
So
Because we knew some of that was inside the home.
yes, hopefully people are taking advantage.
I
of
hope
the
so.
core.
I hope so. I hope they're taking advantage of core. I hope they're taking advantage of those funds we set aside. I don't want people to forget about that money over at G-Card to help them with their water bills, because it matches up to $350. That's a lot.
Yeah, it
And so I
doubles
want
it
people
up.
to take advantage of that, because like I said, once that's gone,
It's gone.
it's
yes.
gone. So get it while the getting is good.
Yes, definitely. And as a community who is recovering through this and
I'm
other
glad
issues,
you said recovering.
We are
because that's what
recovering.
we're doing. We're recovering now.
there are a lot of people every day working to make this change possible.
Right.
With you
Right.
and there's so many
But it's
out in the
taking
community.
all of us.
It is.
It's taking all of us. Even what you're doing right here, keeping this information out
Yes,
there
yes.
for the public to have it.
Yes, that's the
We need
important
that.
part. We need awareness, and we need to really let people know, because to me it seems like there's been just this shadow over the mayor's office,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been fighting hard from day one.
Well, you know, some people didn't want to see me here.
Yes,
And,
exactly.
and that never changed.
That never
and so
changed.
it's the same people that were, you know,
Yes, I do.
unhappy before. So they can just stay unhappy.
And-
you know, they
and-
could
and-
choose to be part of the solution.
Yes, yes.
And helping us rebuild. Because, you know, you just think of what we could have accomplished had we all been working together and fighting the same fight
Yes,
instead of
yes.
fighting each other,
Each other.
like we don't have good sense. We look
Yes.
like buffoons
Yes.
here in the city of Flint when we have all of this opportunity, yet people right here are fighting against each other and taking their eye off the greater prize, which is the citizens and what we deserve as a result of what happened.
Yes, exactly. You know, if we could only come together and work together.
Mm-hmm.
You see it in different communities that didn't suffer as much, but the
Right.
same. Pontiac.
Exactly. But they
Pontiac
work
just
to-
said goodbye to the RTAB. They worked together.
Right.
You
to
know,
make
and
that happen.
it
But
wasn't.
when our council doesn't work with us, it's very difficult.
Yes.
It's
yes.
very difficult, and people all over talk about it.
Yes, the council meetings are something else, and that's I have high hopes, and I wonder what are your hopes for the new city council, because there's going to be some new people there.
You think there's going to be
I
some
do.
new people there?
I
Well,
do.
we're waiting. Today is the day.
Yeah, it's a very
Today is the
important
day that's going to let us see a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for people that want to work together. That's what I want out
Yeah.
of city council, and we're going to see what happens. I hope that the voters speak up.
Yes.
And show them what we want.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
At the end of the day, it's on us, the
Right.
people. You can
It's
say
on the
what you
people
want.
to come on out and vote. We're looking at the weather is beautiful. There is no
Yes,
excuse
yes, it is.
to not get out
No,
today
not
and let
today.
your voices be heard. So I hope that people are looking for some change.
And that's the one thing that I think people forget. You are the mayor you're the change
Mm-hmm.
from just going along to get along. Just like this council they need some people to make changes.
Right.
We have to stop the things that haven't worked.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop.
Well, but you
Yeah.
have to want change.
Yeah, exactly.
And some
You
people
do.
don't want change.
No.
They want the status quo because they had things that were going to be in place for them.
Yeah.
That were going to benefit them as individuals instead of benefiting the city as a whole. And they want it to stay that way.
Yes.
Some people want things to stay exactly like they are.
And the one thing that I see in the city when I talk to
Mm-hmm.
people, it's a different Flint. People have been through so much,
Right.
and they're ready for a change.
They're ready for a
I
change.
believe.
And we have, the opportunity is now.
Yes.
And we don't want to lose that window of opportunity.
No.
Because some people have already said, well, there's so much fighting going
Right.
on there. I don't know if it's worth the investment. And we don't want people to think that we're not worth the
No.
investment.
Yes, because
So
we
that's
are.
that's the scary part.
Yes, ma'am. It sure is. And,
Mhm.
and to continue moving forward, we have to continue to do different things.
Right.
Change. It may have worked for 30 years for your grandparents, but it's
Mhm.
over. It's not the same.
It's
anymore.
not the same. So we've got to do some things
Yes,
differently.
ma'am. So, and that just leads me to ask, what are
Uh-huh.
some of the future plans that you may have or that that are happening in the city?
Well, some of them are what we've already talked about. We want to make sure we stay on track every single year for the Fast Start program.
Yes.
I'm really hoping we can get that recommendation passed so we can bring GM and some other businesses back to the city. We know that it's been out there about Lear coming to the city and bringing some jobs to the city. And we've been in conversation with some other companies that are looking at Flint, that know Flint is a great opportunity. They know we've been dealing with the water and getting that taken care of, and they're looking to come to Flint. So those are some of the plans. We're also looking at what we need to do just with economic development. That's got to continue to grow. We've got to have jobs here in the city, and they've got to be jobs for people that are in Flint. And then we want to look at Flint and Genesee County because we want local
Yes.
people to benefit
Right.
from what's going
Our
on in the
friends and
city.
neighbors, yeah.
Exactly. And because we know a lot of the surrounding area is dependent on what happens in Flint.
Yes.
It's dependent on what happens in Flint. And also just looking at neighborhood growth.
Yes.
We've got to hit, we've been doing really well downtown. And when people come downtown and see downtown, or when they see the cultural center, or when they see different little pockets, they're surprised that, I didn't know Flint had
Right.
this. But we've got to get that spread out into the neighborhoods.
Yes.
We really, really do, because we can't have just one, or just a very few nice areas and not have residents all over benefiting from that. And that's why that beautification project
Yes.
we did was so important.
It was.
And we'd like to see that expand because people in neighborhoods loved it.
Yes, they did,
They
and
loved
you can
it.
see the connection. The neighborhoods are improving.
They
and
are improving.
We are in different areas every day of the city, and there's places that I haven't seen before that are still beautiful and
Right.
untouched. And
Exactly.
And these homeowners, they want this again. This is the nice part of town.
Yeah.
All over.
And
every
you know what?
part.
It was so funny because I was just I was right on West Baker because they were doing pipe replacements over there. And I said, now how did none of these homes get nominated for the beautification because,
Yes.
I mean, they were homeowners, and it was lovely. The flowers, the way they had taken care of their lawns, and they had so much pride in their neighborhood. And so as you go through, you see these things.
Yes. And
You
that's
see
the
these
thing we
things.
need to continue.
We need
is
to
connecting.
continue connecting. I mean, I remember, I'm not sure if you were there when I went over to Crystal Joe's.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been back there a few times. And we've got these hidden gems
Yes,
in the
all
city
over.
that people need to know about
Yes, ma'am.
and see about. And so we've got to get that information out there as well about
Yes.
how we rebuild our neighborhoods.
That we have to change the narrative of our city.
We have to, right, and we have to
continue
do
to
it. We can't
change.
wait for
Yeah.
other people
No
to
one
do
else
it.
is
We
gonna
could
do
be
it.
our best advocates.
Yeah.
And that's something that should be our responsibility to help
Yes.
make that happen.
You know, and one of the things that are the most concerning right now
Mm-hmm.
in our city, besides the water, is the police and the fire. You know, and you've
And
done a lot of things to grow the force on both sides, the fire as
They've
well
been
as
doing
the
a really
police.
good job
Yes.
growing that with the limited resources
Yes.
that we've had, but they've brought in more resources. I
Yes.
mean, you just saw not that long ago, we had the graduation for the
Yes.
firefighters. It was 41 of them, I believe.
41 new
We just
fighters.
got, they were able to get funding for those new top-of-the-line smoke detectors. They got
Yes.
the ladders if you stay in a second-story home in case there's a fire, and they were able to give those out. And they're going to continue to do those kinds of things and bring funding in. Our police department had those, the police reserve, that was about
Yes.
21 or 22
Yes.
that came through 3 months ago. They've been able to get equipment.
Yes.
And they've put not only the CAT squad, which does the raids, but they've put another TAC team together.
Okay.
So they've really, with what they have, but it's been under the leadership of Chief Johnson and Chief Barton,
Yes.
that they've been able to make all of these things happen.
Yes.
And they've all talked about how with these two people in place, the morale has been so much different for them, and it makes them want to continue to fight and want to continue to serve. So we've been really proud of what they've accomplished. We really have, because if it weren't for the water, public safety, talking about police and fire, would be the number one issue.
Yes, it
And-
is.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is in
I
our
mean, because
city.
people want to come to a safe community.
Yes.
When we talk to businesses or when we talk to people that are thinking about
Homeowners,
moving,
yes, future
that those are the
homeowners.
things that they're concerned about is
Yeah.
public safety. So for us to be out of the top 10, whether we're talking about violent crimes or fires, is something that's new for us.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're there.
Yes,
So
we
we know
are.
we're in the right direction.
Yes, and I've seen things that I hadn't seen in years, like officers doing ticket stops and pulling people over for speeding because it was dangerous.
Right.
But they're doing that now, and it's a
And
good
they
sign.
weren't able to do those kinds
No.
of things. And they're trying to respond in a more timely fashion. One of the things I don't think people recognize, though, is when they call 911, they think they're calling directly to the police
Right.
department, and they're
Yes.
not. They're
Yes.
calling the county. And then they determine the priority of those calls that come through. So they get mad at the Flint police, but it's not the
Right.
Flint police that actually
Right.
get those calls. They get what's passed on to them.
To the
Through the-
countywide 911
exactly,
system.
exactly.
Yes, yes, so that is something. So if you want the Flint police, you have to call the Flint
Right,
police.
yeah, you don't get them when you call, you know.
Okay,
So,
yes.
and that's how the response time is determined. So that's something we did want people
Yeah, it's
to know and not take it out on them because.
yes. They're
they-
trying. They're
right,
out
and
there.
they
I
go
see
as
them.
they get them.
Yes, there's
So they're
so much.
prioritized by someone else.
Yes, so that's
Mm-hmm.
never good. That's never good. But as we continue to see change and improvement, I
Right.
know that's an area that you work on hard with Chief Johnson. You guys do a great job.
And people, you know what, people like them.
Yes.
People like them.
Yes,
They've
they
had
do.
a great response in
The community, yes, yes, they do. I
Mhm.
believe so. So yes, there is so many. It's great to talk to you, and there's so many issues going on in
I
the
know, we'll
city
have
at
to-
once. It seems like
I know
everything's
it.
being pushed on us.
Everything.
From changing our charter to what water source are we doing, and now they're forcing us into a recall election. So there's so many things that us as the city have to deal with.
I know, and some of them we shouldn't have to
No,
deal with.
not at all.
Some of them we shouldn't have to deal with.
No.
You know, people get angry with you because they don't like you.
Or they don't get their way.
Or they don't get their way.
Or something they feel
And
like
they
you should give them.
And they can do anything to file a recall. You don't have to do anything egregious to the office. You don't have to do anything illegal. It's because they don't like you.
Right.
And then they will cheat and do things by any means necessary to get signatures.
Right.
But what do you expect from people that don't tell the truth and cheat?
Yeah, exactly. And I know, in my personal beliefs, I know that you are a strong woman of faith, and this is going to take care of itself.
That's why I said
There's a
I'm going
plan.
to stay, focused on. I keep telling people I'm going to continue to do what I was elected to do.
That's right.
I can't be distracted
No.
by things that don't make sense.
Right, exactly. You said it.
And they're
best.
distractions.
That's all.
And
they
some
are.
people get up every day to create chaos and confusion. I said, and that's really sad when that's what your life is about, is
Yes.
chaos and confusion, and you have no other goal but to cause chaos, confusion, talk about people, put people down.
Right.
You have no other goal. You don't know how to lift people up. You don't know how to be part of a winning team to make great things happen for your city. You know how to talk about people and tear down.
Up.
So
ma'am.
that's sad. I'm gonna pray for them.
Yes.
I'm gonna pray for them, because when that's what your goal is every single day, is how can I be destructive?
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know who you serve, but I know who you don't serve.
Right. Exactly. Because that's not how it works. That's always my number one question. What have you done that's so great around here that you can talk
but you've
about
always wanted
everybody
second
else?
chances based on what you've done in the past.
Right.
And everybody deserves second chances,
Yes,
but
of course.
you give nobody any.
Right. Right, yes, and it's foolishness, and it's a distraction, and it's funny to me. This is just my own opinion, Mayor Weaver, that the mayor that stood up for a city is now facing a brand new changed recall law.
Right.
To me, that is you can't see past what's happening.
I know.
You can't see too far.
Well, like I said, some of them didn't want me here anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
It wouldn't matter what I do.
Yes. If you said red, they want green. If
That's
you said
right.
Detroit Water, they want KWA.
Right,
And
but
it's gonna
everybody
always be
wanted
that way.
Detroit Water before. Get us off KWA. I think
Yeah.
they've been surprised at everything we've been able to accomplish, even when people haven't worked with us, that we've been able to make things happen. And I don't know, some people just don't like that.
Right, and speaking,
If it's not them.
if it's not them or benefiting their group or their people,
Right.
they don't approve. And to me, I don't know how you feel about the charter review. That is just another.
I haven't been I've spoken about that.
Yes.
And I wasn't happy with it, with a lot of the things that I saw in there.
There are some good points, but
there's
most
some-
of them just seems like outside control into something that's already established.
To something that's already established. I don't understand why we're not implementing the charter that's in place. Why don't we do that?
That's my stance.
Right.
Why change it when you don't enforce it
We have a charter
now?
that is a good one.
Yes, it
that we
is.
need to implement.
Yes, it is.
And the other thing that I don't like is this was put in place by the emergency manager.
Yes, it was.
And how have people forgotten that?
Right.
This was something that the emergency manager put in place, and here we want to run with that.
Right.
I don't want to run with anything the emergency
No.
manager put in place.
And if you ask people in the cities that have changed their charter, Detroit, all of them, they regret it because it was the final out for the complete takeover.
Right.
That's what it
Right.
is. These are the hurdles they need to get past.
Right, it does. It takes a lot away from, we have a strong mayor form of government.
Yes.
And they've been trying to move us from that for a long time, which really dilutes the voice of the city.
The people.
And exactly. And we've had that already when we had the emergency manager,
Yes.
all of them
Yes.
come through. So why do we want our voice diluted another time by
Right.
something that was put in place and gotten started by them?
Right. Yes, ma'am. I believe. That's my perfect stance with it. This is not what the people really wanted.
Right.
Some people wanted
Right.
the charter review.
And so I hope people understand that.
Yeah, and we'll see today.
We'll see.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
see.
and it's a beautiful day. I hope everyone gets out to vote.
I
And
do too.
thank you so much for giving me this time to speak with you today.
You know what? I appreciate you. Like I said, thanks for helping us keep the message out, because
Yes.
people need to know what's going on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yes.